Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. Today we are going to commence going through a section of the sixth canto of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam with Vishwanath-Chakravarti remarks. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur has paraphrased it in Bengali. He has also given some remarks on it. And Prabhupada has also given some explanation, a brief explanation about it. That is about the glories of the holy name. Okay. Together. First, I'll show you. Okay. I should be able to share my screen. Interesting. Okay. So, open Prabhupada. I'll read Prabhupada's translation before proceeding. Open up corresponding sections. Okay. 10 of this chapter. Okay, this is the verse. Two verses. Also opening the corresponding section. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. 9, 10. I'm opening it in a different screen. It's a long purport. Usually Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary is not so long, but this one is long. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati's explanation also appears at the end of the chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Stena Surapo Mitradhruk Brahmaha Gurutalpaga Sri Rajapitrigo Hanta Yecha Patakino Pare Sarvesham Apyagavatam Idam Eva Sunishkritam Namavya Ranam Vishnu Yatastad Vishayamatihi. The chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu is the best process of atonement for a thief of gold or other valuables, for a drunkard, for one who betrays a friend or relative, for one who kills a brahmana, for one who indulges in sex with the wife of his guru or another superior. It is also the best method of atonement for one who murders women, the king or his father, for one who slaughters cows, and for all other sinful men. Simply by chanting the holy name of Lord Vishnu, such sinful persons may attract the attention of the Supreme Lord, who therefore considers, because this man has chanted my holy name, my duty is to give him protection. Okay, now, take Vishwanath-Chakravarti Thakur's commentary to this. I'll just translate it on the spot, but I'll do it on the basis of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's paraphrase, which I have. His paraphrase is in Bengali. I have it in another screen. So I keep consulting that, and based on that, I'll keep working out the running translation. Nanu bhavatnama patakanam nashaha, kintu kamakritanam bahunam mahapatakanam sahasrashah avatitanam dvadashabda kotibhirapya anivartyanam katham ekenaiva nama abhasena prayashchittam syat. All right, through namabhas, one's sinful reactions can be destroyed. I agree. This is the statement of an objector. I have no objection about this. But if one intentionally he engages in limited, greatly degrading activities of all different types, thousands and thousands of times, and the sinful reactions cannot be destroyed even through various forms of prayashchitta, such as the 12-year penance and so on. Not if you just do that atonement penance once, even if you do it millions and millions of times, it cannot be destroyed. That to that degree, the person has engaged in sinful activities. How is it possible? By engaging in one namabhasa chanting, all of those greatly degrading sinful reactions, they can be atoned for. With this in mind, this shloka has been introduced. Swarnasteyi idameva sunishkritam papa nirmulanat nirmulika karanat sreshtam prayashittam. Here, the word swarna refers to swarna or gold refers to the one who steals gold. Because the very sinful reaction is because that chain of sinful reactions is completely uprooted. This meaning, this chanting of the holy name of Lord Vishnu, this alone is the factual and good sunishkrita, or the best atonement. This is the best form of atonement. Natu dvadashabdika, dvadasha abdadika, not the 12-year penance and so on. Now, I think I should help you understand what is a 12-year penance. Typically, there is the Chandrayana-vrata, which is a standard atonement. You see, these atonements, they prevent you from going to hell and from getting animal bodies. If you do it properly with a repentant spirit, honestly, then the higher authorities, headed by Yamaraj, they will forgive you. And you will not have to enter hell. You will not have to attain animal body and so on. So the Chandrayana Vrata is that on Purnima day, one is allowed to eat 15 handfuls of havishya or certain types of standard foodstuffs. That is also specified. On the next, only that, you cannot eat anything else. 15 handfuls. And the next day, 14 handfuls. Next day, 13 handfuls. Next day, 12 handfuls. Then 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like that it goes to 15. So in that way, when one does a 12-year penance, then his sins are atoned for. But that will not remove the propensity for sinful reactions, because even if he does not go to hell, he does not get an animal body, in his next human life, he may commit the same sinful activity and he may not atone for it, this next human life. So you're just postponing the problem. You're not solving the problem. So the best prayaschitta atonement is this chanting. Papa nashakatvepi, Papa nirmula samarthyat. Because even though the sinful reaction is destroyed, these kinds of prayashchittas, these kind of vows, they have the capacity to destroy the sinful reactions, but they do not have the capacity to uproot the sinful reactions. Uproot means, see, a sinful activity is caused by vasana. Papa kriya is caused by papa vasana, which is coming because of avidya. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, we learned this. So, these forms of atonement, they can only remove sinful reactions, which are some kind of infection on the subtle body. So the sinful reaction is destroyed, that's fine. But the propensity to engage in that sinful activity, that is not gone. And these vratas, they do not have the capacity for that. Napye tanmatra phalakam yata yato nama vyaharana tad vishaya namocharaka purusha vishaya madiyoyam maya sarvatha rakshaniya iti vishnor matir bhavati iti swami charana. So these kind of, so this alone is not the result, because by uttering the holy name, by articulating the holy name, then Bhagavan Shri Vishnu, he considers that this person, he is my own person. I should protect him in every manner. So the Supreme Lord begins to think about the person who is chanting. So this is the explanation of Shri Swami Pada, Shri Sridhar Swami. Swanama Srutvaivatam Ducharakam Ajamilam Smritvaivatam Manetum Asman Adishtavan iti Kimuta Sevyatvena Vishnu Vishaya Matis Tasya Purushasya Syaditi Bhavaha. The intended meaning is this: by hearing his own holy name, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has remembered this Ajamila who has uttered the holy names. And when he has ordered all of us, these verses are spoken by the Vishnu Dutas, he has ordered us to bring Ajamila to his abode. Then, where is the doubt that Ajamila would not begin to think about the Supreme Lord Vishnu as his object of service? Because Ajamila is the one who uttered the holy names. Ataha Yamadutan Sakshat Darshayitum Eva Ajamilasya Tadanintanam Nama Vyaharanam Sarva Papa Prayaschittatvena Vishnu Duta Uchuhu. Therefore, the Vishnu Dutas, they wanted to, therefore they spoke about the person who has uttered the holy name as having engaged in atonement for all sinful activities at that time. So this they mentioned in the presence of the Yamadutas when Ajamila had chanted. They wanted to point this out to the Yamadutas. Vastutastu putra namakarana samayam arabhyaiva putra ahvanadishu bahushaha vyahrutanam namnam madhye yat prathamam tadeva sarva papa prashamakam abhud anyani tu bhakti sadhakani iti vyakhyayam. But actually, right from the time Ajamila had given his son a name, he had done Namakarana for his son. So he had given the name Narayana to his son. So right from that time, every time he called out to his son and so on, hundreds and hundreds of times, by uttering the holy name Narayana, at that time, right from the first time he uttered the holy name Narayana, at that time, all of his sinful reactions were destroyed. And after that, the other utterances of the name Narayana, they generated bhakti. It is possible to give this explanation also. Yad vyajahareti paroksha nirdeshat prathamam nama uddishyai voktam. In the previous, in one of the previous verses, it was the Vishnu Dutas say that Ajamila, he had uttered the holy name Narayana. This refers to, actually, according to the rules of Sanskrit grammar, the Vishnu Dutas use a particular expression, Vyajahara, which refers to an activity that was engaged in the remote past. So, because that kind of past tense is utilized here, it is understood that when the Vishnu Dutas say, oh, Ajamila has chanted the holy name Narayana, it means he had chanted the holy name Narayana at that time. He is referring to the first time he uttered Narayana. Vivasha iti putra sneha vivasha iti vyakhyaya. And he did so helplessly. Helplessly, has the sense that he was helplessly affectionate to his son. Nacha punah punah namam vyaharana nantaram api punah punah utpannanam veshyabhigama surapanadinam sarvesham papanam prashamanartham antima samayottameva nama vyaharana apekshitam yat anantaram punah papa anutpattiriti vachyam. If this is an objection, even after he uttered the holy name repeatedly, still he repeatedly went to that prostitute. He engaged in various sinful activities such as drinking wine and so on. All of them, they were all the sinful reactions, the reactions for these sinful activities. All of them were destroyed at the last time when he uttered the holy name. So the Vishnu Dutas, when they said that he uttered the holy name, therefore we have come, it means the last time he uttered the holy name. That objection can be made. Because after one utters the holy name, there is no possibility that one will engage in sinful activity. So now Vishnu Thakur says, no, this is wrong. You cannot give this kind of interpretation. Vaikunthan nama grahanam asheshaga haram vidu iti atra ashesha pada upadanat vartamanam tu yad papam yad bhutam yad bhavishyati tat sarvam nirdahatyashu govinda nalakirtana Yannama Sakrit-Shravana, Ukashoti Muchyate Samsara, Chitram Vidura Vigata Sakridata Dita, Yannama Theyamadhana Sajahati Pantham Ityadishu, Samsara Bandhadi Prayogacha. There are a number of scriptural statements. The saintly persons, they know that simply uttering the Nāmāśraya of Lord Vishnu, that destroys unlimited sinful reactions. So here, unlimited comes. Again, by engaging in Nama Kirtana, the Kirtana of the holy name of Lord Govinda, all sinful reactions, all reactions to sins which are being committed, which had been committed, and which will be committed, all of them are immediately burnt up like fire. Or another scriptural statement. Even if one hears the holy name once, a Chandala becomes liberated from material existence. So here, the expression material existence refers to current material existence. Another statement. O Vidura, it is very astonishing that that person who has once uttered the Supreme Personality of Godhead's holy name, he gets freed from the bondage of material existence. In other words, he gets liberated. So here we see bondage, reference to bondage, and he's being freed from that. So therefore, it is not possible to engage in further sinful activities. Okay. Tatra tatra samaya visheshe niyama anabhidhanacha prathama nama grahanenaiva sarva papanam tad vasanayas tan moola bhuta avidyaya api nasha avagate punah papa praroha asambhavat. So from these verses we understand that at specific times there are no regulations, restrictions, and therefore from the first time one utters the holy name, all the sinful reactions and the propensity to engage in sinful activities, as well as the original root cause of sinful activities, which is known as avidya, all of that are destroyed. One should understand this. Therefore, there is no possibility that one's sinful activities can sprout up. Another objection. Anutariki prathama nama grahananantaram eva ajamilena nirvidya tatah katham na apasrutam papa praroha abhavepi tasyam eva dasyam asajya tad deva papam tavat kala paryantam pratyuta kritam. Another objection. In that case, then after he uttered the first holy name, why is it that Ajamila did not become renounced and detached from these sinful activities, and why he did not resist from these sinful activities? On the contrary, if his sinful desires did not sprout up into sinful activities, then why did he become attached to that dasi? And and why did he again engage in all kinds of sinful activities till that last moment? Uchyate. a response is now given to that objection. Samsara vashat, samskara vashat, jivan muktanam karma iva tasyapi tavat kala paryantam tattadeva papam punah punah utpatyamanam api uthata damshra uragadamsha vanna phalajanakam. Just as the activities of a Jivan Mukta, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, even though those who are Jivan Muktas, those who are fully liberated, violent material existence, when they perform various activities due to their ancient mental impressions, their activities actually does not produce any result. They do not actually experience the results of the material activities that they engage in. Similarly, Ajamil also, until that time he died, he left his body, he was about to leave the body. The various sinful activities that he had engaged in, they were like the bite of a fangless serpent. They were like the bites of a serpent whose fangs had been removed. So he did not experience the results of any of those sinful activities. Kimva matantara utkhata abhavartham bhagavata eva papa bija abhavepi punah pape pravartanam bhavet इत्येव व्याख्यायम् अन्यथा स्तुत्यर्थवादि कल्पनान्तरे वा व्याख्यायमाने तदार्थवादो हरिनाम्नि कल्पनम् इति पादमोक्त नामापराध प्रसक्तौ नाम्नोऽपि सर्वसुहृदो हि अपराधात् पतत्यतः इति अर्थवादं हरिर्नाम्नि संभावयति यो नरः स पापिष्ठो मनुष्याणां निरये पतति स्फुटं यन्नाम कीर्तनफलं विविधं विषम्य न श्रद्धधीति न श्रद्धधाति मनुते यद उतार्थवादम यो मानुषस्तमिह दुःख क्षये क्षिपामि संसार घोर विधार्ति निपीडितांगम श्रुति स्मृति पुराणेषु नाममाहात्म्य वाचिषु येर्थवाद इति ब्रूयु न तेषां निरय क्षय इति पाद्म कात्यायन संहितादि परः सहस्रवचनाद् अधः पात एव स्यात्. Or else, if according to the teachings of those who are averse to pure devotional service unto Lord Hari, if just by uttering the holy names once, the fangs are not removed, in other words, if the propensity to engage in sinful activities and so on, if they are not removed, then one would be forced to come up with the explanation that even though he did not have any sinful propensity, the seed for sinful activity, the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself is engaging Ajamila repeatedly in sinful activities. That is a very absurd conclusion. Because the Supreme Lord, by definition, does not want anyone to engage in any activity which is unfavorable to him, which is unfavorable to the world, and which is self-destructive. Sinful activities are all of this. Because the only other alternative explanation is that one will have to say that these scriptural statements which are quoted about the glories of the holy name here in this context, they are all simply for pious exaggeration. Or if one comes up with some other speculative explanation about these verses, then it would actually become an offense, because there are statements in the Padma Purana that person who considers the glories of the holy name to be an exaggeration, or who gives some interpretation to the scriptural statements about the holy names, then it would be a great offense. And in this regard, there are other scriptural statements. The holy name is the well-wisher of all. And when one commits offense to the holy name, then the living entity falls down. Another statement, that person who speculates that the statements about the holy names are mere exaggerations or praises, then he should be understood to be the worst sinner amongst all human beings. Certainly he will fall to hell. Another scriptural statement, that man who, despite hearing the results of Nāmāśraya-bhakti, he does not have factual faith in the holy name, and he considers all of these to be just ordinary exaggerations about the holy name, then that person, this is the Supreme Lord speaking, the Supreme Lord says that I will give that person miserable bodies with which they suffer in various torments in material existence. I will throw that person within various forms of suffering. So there are statements in the scriptures that describe the glories of the holy name. In the Shruti, Smriti, Purana, and so on. There are many statements which can be found like this. So those persons who consider the glory of the sacred holy name to be an arthavada, to be a statement of praise or an exaggeration, they will certainly fall into hell. Not only that, they have no end to their sufferings in hell. In the Padma Purana as well as Katyayana Samhita and so on, you will find thousands and thousands of statements that state that one who engages in such an offensive interpretation of the glory of the holy name, he will fall down. That should be understood. Ateva Shri Vishnuratena Kvachin Nivartate Bhatra Kvachit Charatatna Prayashchittam Matho Vartham Manye Kunjara Shauchavat Iti Punah Papa Pravritti Darshane Prayashchittam Akshipata Api Bhakti Prasange Bhaktanam Api Kasya Kasyachit Punah Papa Pravritti Darshane Api Naiva Akshepah Kritaha. Therefore, Vishnu Rata or Parikshit, he said that in this world, when a person engages in the Karmakanda Prayashchitas, sometimes he refrains from sinful activity, and then later on at another time, again he engages in sinful activity. Therefore, the atonements that are found in the Karmakanda scriptures, they are like the bathing of an elephant. They are simply, I consider them useless. So here, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the first-class devotee Parikshit, he notices persons engaging in sinful activities again and again, even after engaging in the prayashchitta within the Karmakanda system. So here, even though he criticizes such prayashchitta, he notices, but at the same time, he has not criticized a different situation pertaining to bhakti. Bhaktas, during their times of sadhana bhakti, some of them repeatedly engage in sinful activities. Even after seeing that, Parikshit Maharaj has not criticized them at all. Picha yatha namabhasa balena ajamilaha duracharaha api vaikuntam prapitaha tathaiva smartadayaha sadacharaha shastragyaha api vaspushah nama grahinaha api arthavada kalpanadi namaparatha balena घोर संसारमेव प्राप्यन्ते इत्यतः नाममाहात्म्य दृष्ट्या सर्वमुक्ति प्रसंगोपि न आशंक्यः. Moreover, even though Ajamil he engaged in sinful activity by the influence of Namabhasa, he had gone to Vaikuntha. He was taken to Vaikuntha. On the other hand, persons who follow the various smritis, the smartas, even though they are engaged in sadachar, proper behavior, and even though they are in knowledge of the Shastras, even though they repeatedly utter the holy names of the Supreme Lord, because they engage in the offense to the holy name in the form of Arthavada, Kalpana, in the form of considering the glories of the holy name to be exaggeration, or work out some speculative, imaginative explanation to these statements and so on. These persons, they simply attain the tortures of material existence and misery. Therefore, when one sees the statements about the glories of the holy name, because he considers that those statements are statements of exaggeration, or he works out some mundane interpretation to these statements, he becomes an offender to the holy name. So therefore, everyone will not get liberation. So there's no need to be having any apprehension that, oh, then you are saying that everybody will get liberated just by uttering the holy name. No, because even though those statements are there, people will not take it seriously. And because they don't take it seriously, they are committing those offenses, the fifth and sixth offenses. And because they are committing those offenses, even if they chant the holy names, they will not attain purification. Tadevam Bhagavan Nama Sakrit Pravrittamapi Satyeva Samulam Papam Samharadapi Phalannapi Vriksha Khaleva Phalatiti Nyayena Prayah Kinchit Vilambata Eva Swiya Phalalingam Loke Darshayatva Bahirmukha Shastra Mata Uchcheda Abhava Artham Kvachit Na Darshayatva Cha Swa Vyahartri Janan Swa Aparadha Rahitan Bhagavad Dhama Nayati iti Siddhanto Veditaha. Therefore, even if the holy name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is uttered only once, and even though that holy name can destroy at that very moment all the sinful reactions, there is a basic principle that though we say that a tree produces fruits, it produces fruits over a period of time. So in accordance with this principle, the holy name generally, after some delay only, he shows the results, he shows the symptoms of the results of having uttered that holy name. And uh, even in accordance with the uh, statements of scriptures, for those who are averse to pure devotional service, even though at one time all the sinful reactions are not removed, uh, the holy name does not reveal the symptoms of having attained the result uh, for specific persons at specific times. After that person becomes free from offenses, that person who's uttering the holy names, he is shown the results of having uttered the holy name, and he is taken to his own Vaikuntha Dham. So Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam reveals this particular teaching. No, another objection. Arthavadadi namaparadha vatam namaparadha hetukaha adhah pataha bhavatu nama tatra na vivadamahe. All right. For persons who engage in namaparad, such as the offense of considering the statements of the glories of the holy names to be exaggerations and so on. Okay, that such persons, they fall down. We have no dispute about this. Nama grana hetukaha sarva papa kshaya bhavati nava. But as a result of uttering the holy name, to those people, do all the sinful reactions for those people, are they destroyed or are they not destroyed? Answer this. Because Adye karmik jnani yogi bhaktanam tad bhinnanam api nranam madhye paradharika parahimsadi gamyeshu narakeshu kenapi na gantavyam. Because if you say that the sinful reactions, all of their sinful reactions are destroyed, then those human beings amongst the karmis, jnanis, yogis, bhaktas, or those who are none of them, all of those persons who engage in going in illicit relationships, violence towards others, and so on, none of them would go to hell. But if you accept the second alternative, that all of their sinful reactions are not destroyed, dvitiye karmi prabhritibher iva bhaktairapi papa bhogartam narakeshu gantavyam eva. If you say that no, all of their sinful reactions are not destroyed, then the bhaktas, just like the others, the karmis, jnanis, yogis, or others, they would have to go to hell to experience the results of having engaged in those sinful activities. So in both ways, you are now stuck, you have a problem. Tatra uchyate yatha mahajana swashitanam ashrayana taratamyena palana taratamyam kurvannapi taneva palayate yadi te tad aparadhinah syuhu iti tasya aprasada eva swashita palane karanam natu palana asamarthyam kalpaniya. Answer. A great man, he maintains a person, he maintains people who have taken shelter of him in accordance to the degree to which they have taken shelter of him. So his maintenance is corresponding to the degree of his maintenance corresponds to the degree to which they have taken shelter of him. And if they become offensive, then that becomes a cause for non-maintenance of them because of not being satisfied with him. It does not indicate that he is incapable of maintaining them. One should not imagine that now this person is incapable of maintaining. He is not incapable. He does not want to maintain. Teshameva aparatha kshaya taratamyena teshu tasya prasada taratamyam cha. Similarly, those persons who are engaged in offenses to the holy name, in accordance with the degree to which the reactions to those offenses are destroyed, to that degree, the holy name favors them. Sarvaparadha kshaye prasadayeva. And when all of the reactions to their previous offenses have been destroyed, then the holy name is fully in favor of that person, fully blesses him. Evameva nama upalakshitanam bhakti devi ye guni bhavena ashrayante karmadi phalasiddhyartham teshu guni bhuta ya bhakte vartamanatvepi प्राधान्येन उपदेशः भवति इति न्यायेन ते कर्मी ज्ञान्यादि शब्देन विधीयते. Here, chanting of the holy name actually refers to Bhakti Devi. The process is the process of chanting is indicative of the entire process of devotional service. So Bhakti Devi, the goddess of devotion, she these people, these karmis, jnanis, yogis, they have taken shelter of this Bhakti Devi to a small extent. Because if one does not engage in bhakti, then one cannot, they cannot attain the results of karma or jnana or yoga. So for that purpose, they do engage in Navavidha Vishnu Bhakti, but to a small extent. This is called minimized bhakti, Gunibhuta Bhakti. As Vishnu-Chakravarti Thakur often explains in his writings, there are three types of engagement in bhakti. Gunibhuta Bhakti. Pradhanibhuta Bhakti. Kevala Bhakti. This refers to activities. Gunibhuta Bhakti means minimized bhakti. Pradhanibhuta Bhakti means maximized bhakti. Kevala Bhakti means if one, of course, one has to give some activities, adharma has to be given up. No doubt about it. Whether you want to engage in karma, jnana, yoga, or bhakti, you have to first of all give up adharma. So, if one does not touch adharma, but on a daily basis, he gives most of his time for the process of karma. But he gives a small amount of time for bhakti on a daily basis. Then that combination is known as Gunibhuta Bhakti in the language of Vishnu-Chakravarti, minimized bhakti. But if on a daily basis, and why does he do that? why should he engage in a little bit of Navavida Bhakti, Vishnu Bhakti on a daily basis? Because this person, most of the time, is giving to the activities of karma. Because in his next life, he wants to go to the heavenly planets, or he wants to have a better life, better human life. That's all he wants. So why he's doing this Navavida Vishnu Bhakti? Because he knows that if he does not engage in Navavida Vishnu Bhakti, there will be no effect to engaging in that activity of karma. It will be useless. His abandonment of adharma and his acceptance of karma will be simply useless. It will not produce any result. Zero result. If he does not also daily engage in Navavida Vishnu Bhakti, one or more items of Navavida Vishnu Bhakti. So this combination is known as Gunibhuta Bhakti. Then there's another combination called Pradhanibhuta Bhakti, maximized Bhakti. When one spends most of his, when one rejects adharma, does not touch adharma, and he spends most of his daily time in one or more items of Navavida Vishnu Bhakti, and he gives a little bit of time to, let us say, karma. Now, when I said minimized Bhakti, I gave karma, Bhakti minimized by karma as one example. That's called Karma Gunibhuta Bhakti. But there are also other forms. That is Bhakti minimized by Jnana for attaining impersonal liberation. They engage primarily in the process of Jnana on a daily basis. They also don't touch adharma. And they do engage in one or more items of Navavida Vishnu Bhakti. Those persons are engaged in what is known as Jnana Gunibhuta Bhakti, or Bhakti minimized by Jnana. They need to do that. If they don't engage in Navavida Vishnu Bhakti, at least a little bit, on a daily basis, they cannot attain impersonal liberation. These people know this. Now, these impersonalists are not the Mayavadis following Shankaracharya. So prior to that, they were non-Mayavadi impersonalists. They are of a different type. Similarly, it is with the yogis. The yogis who want to attain Paramatma, they also engage in Bhakti minimized by yoga. Yoga Gunibhuta Bhakti. Most of the time goes in the process of yoga, and a little bit of time is given to engagement in the process of bhakti, one or more items of Navavida Bhakti, Vishnu Bhakti. They need to do that to ensure that they attain the result of yoga, which is to attain Paramatma. Now, in Pradhanibhuta Bhakti or maximized Bhakti, one has the desire to attain the Supreme Lord. But on a daily basis, he gives some amount of time to the process of karma or the process of jnana or the process of yoga. In that case, the combinations would be called karma pradhanibhuta bhakti or bhakti maximized in the presence of karma, or bhakti maximized in the presence of jnana, or bhakti maximized in the presence of yoga. So here we see that these persons are giving most of their time for bhakti. Then you have Kevala Bhakti, which means not only they have rejected adharma, they have rejected even karma, jnana, yoga. They only engage in the activities of bhakti. They only engage in one or more items of bhakti. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmani, Vedanam. They are like, within ISKCON, I have to say, they are like sannyasis. That is all they do. They are like Vaishnava sannyasis. That is all they do. They don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. So in this context here, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that those who engage in this, they are not called bhaktas. Even though on a daily basis they are engaging in some degree of devotional service to Lord Vishnu. Vishnu means Vishnu Tattva. Still, they are not called bhaktas. Because labels are given according to, labels of combinations are given according to that component which is predominant. So on the basis of this principle, these persons, if they are engaged in bhakti minimized by karma, they are called karmis. If they are engaged in bhakti minimized by jnana, then they are called jnanis. And if they are engaged in bhakti minimized by yoga, they are called yogis. They are not called bhaktas. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur notes that they are not called Vaishnavas. These people, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, they are directly offending the holy name. Natu Vaishnava Shabdena Techa Swarupata Eva Ekanama Aparathavantaha. Same thing, that was already stated. Yaduktam Dharma Vrata Tyaga Hutadi Sarva Shubha Kriya Samyam Api Pramada Iti Namaha Dharmadivi Samyameva Aparadha Kim Uta Dharmadi Angatvena Gunibhutatvam Ityarthaha. Because the Padma Purana itself says that to consider these material auspicious activities such as material dharma, these vows such as prayaschitta or renunciation like sannyas and so on, performing fire sacrifices and so on. To even consider that these activities are as good as chanting the holy names, that itself is an offense. So in that case, notice this here, the activities of material auspiciousness, material dharma and so on, just to consider them as being equal to bhakti itself is considered an offense. So now what if one engages in that combination where bhakti itself is being minimized by dharma, vrata, tyaga, and so on, by these activities of material dharma, then certainly that is also an offense. Where is the doubt about that? Tadapi tadrisha swa-ashrayana gunalesha grahanena eva yesham karma yogadayah ma viphala bhavantu iti sviya dakshinyena swa apakarsham svikritya api bhakti devi tesham karma adi anga bhuta eva karma adi phalam nishpratyuham utpadayati yatha tathaiva tesham papamapi prayaschittanga bhuta eva nashayati. So here Bhakti Devi, she considers that even if you have slightly taken shelter of me by engaging in a combination which has minimized me, let these persons' engagement in their karma yoga and so on not become useless. With this consideration, out of excessive mercy, it is actually Bhakti Devi who keeps a very low profile for them, and she mixes with the process of karma, jnana and yoga, and she causes them to, without obstruction, attain the results of karma, jnana, and yoga. So now, for those who are engaged in bhakti minimized by karma, her activities of bhakti, they are now mixed with prayaschitta. So that prayaschitta, which has been mixed with bhakti, it destroys all of the sinful reactions. Therefore, they don't go to hell. na anyatha iti atasthaireva akrita prayashchittais tat tat papa phala bhogartham teshu teshu narakeshu gantavyam eva natu vaishnavaihi. It is for this reason alone that for those persons amongst the karmis, jnanis, yogis, if they do not engage in, it's actually talking of the karmis, because jnanis, yogis, they don't engage in these kind of things actually, or maybe they do, some of them may, that possibility is there. So when they don't do this prayashchitta, then in order to experience the results of their respective sinful activities, they must certainly go to the various hells. But that is not the case with the Vaishnavas. The Vaishnavas do not have to engage, have to go to hell. Now, by the Vaishnava, obviously, he is talking about these two groups. Those who are spending most of their time in the engagement of Hari Bhakti, or those who are spending all of their time. यदि च ते पुनर् अन्यान् अर्थवाद साधु निंदादीन नामापराधं कुर्वाण एव धर्मादिकम् अनुतिष्ठन्ति तदा धर्माद्यङ्गभूतापि न तत् फलम् उत्पादयति. And when those karmis, jnanis and yogis, when they engage in arthavada, or when they engage in sadhu ninda, and similar namaparadhas, and they engage in various forms of dharma, material dharma, then Bhakti Devi, even though she has been mixed with dharma and other processes, she does not invoke the destruction of their sinful activities. Kete paratha viprendra namno bhagavata katha vignanti nrinam krityam prakritam hi anayanti cha ityadi vachanebhya. Because it has been stated in that same chapter of Padma Purana that describes the Nāmāśraya-bhakti. Oh, best of the Brahmanas, what are those offenses by engaging in which all of the auspicious activities of human beings are destroyed, meaning that they don't produce any results, and one attains a materialistic state of consciousness. One becomes materialistic. So if we intentionally commit sinful activities, that is the result that we'll have to face. Kincha teshamapi tat tat aparadhebhyah nivritya tat upashamaka nama kirtanadi paranam nama aparadha kshayat taratamyena karma phala prapti taratamya. However, if they refrain from such offenses to the holy name, and they engage in Nama Kirtana and other such activities corresponding, which destroy the reactions to their offenses, then to the degree to which their offenses to the holy name have been destroyed, to that degree they attain the results of karma. Sadhu Sangha Pashat Sarva Nama Paratha Kshayetu Bhakti Devi Samyak Prasadena Nama Phala Praptireva Nirvivada. And by the association of saintly persons, when all of their offenses to the holy name are destroyed, then Bhakti Devi becomes fully satisfied with them. And there is no doubt and no controversy that they attain the result of having chanted the holy name. Okay, I'm going to put a stop here. a complicated discussion. There are more to come. He will put further questions and will answer. Continue further. And then after all of this, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has things to say, so that we don't misunderstand Vishwanath Chakravarti. Okay, any questions? Leela Mathuri Lalita Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, while chanting, we are directly associated with the Lord. That is what I heard. But the chanting is Bhakti Devi. That is what you said in the class. So how can I understand both?
Bhakti Devi is the presiding goddess for those who are engaged in the process of devotional service, in which chanting of the holy name is the primary activity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what is your question?
I didn't understand the explanation about Bhakti Devi. So
okay.
How should I?
There is a potency of the Supreme Lord known as Bhakti Devi, who awards the results of Bhakti to those who are engaged in Bhakti, to the degree that they deserve to be given that particular result. Is that clear?
So she is the one who decides how much I have to get progress in Bhakti.
Yeah, but she is not whimsical. To whatever degree we are doing things correctly, to that degree she will respond.
Okay. Then you were talking about mixed Bhakti also. So if there is a devotee who has to earn for his family, for running the family, so obviously he will be engaged in the materialistic activity in a day around 6 to 7 hours. So how do we take that?
That is Pradhani Bhuta Bhakti. They are engaged in maximized Bhakti.
If he is utilizing that money only for Krishna conscious, right?
Then how can he maintain his family?
Okay.
He's engaged in maximized Bhakti. Maintaining the family is a pious activity, if the family members are sinless.
Sinless, only sinless. It doesn't mean that they're supposed to be devotees.
It's okay, but if you're not engaged in sinful activities, you're maintaining the family members according to the rules of the scriptures, you're earning according, at least you're not contradicting the principles of dharma while earning money. That is all pious. So they're engaged in maximized bhakti. It depends. Again, it depends. You know, if bhakti is, if they're giving more time for bhakti, or they're giving more time for karma, these pious activities of maintaining the family, depends on that. In that case, you know, if they're spending more time on this, then they're engaged in minimized bhakti.
Okay. Can I ask one more question?
Okay.
During Prabhupada time, all the devotees were residing in temple. That means they were full-time devotees. But now, most of the devotees, maybe in our place, at least, it is congregation. Means out of the temple, we all stay. So, if somebody is asking, why can't we just leave the job, take the shelter of the Lord, and become a full-time devotee and run your family? So, how should I take that?
It's very nice. That is what Prabhupada wanted. Prabhupada had no objection to brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi staying. But you can't live in a temple and expect to have the luxury of a congregation life. If you're willing to accept the austerity of the peanut money that is thrown upon you when you live as a brahmana inside a temple, then it's fine. That is how it is meant to be. Prabhupada's time, that's how grihasthas were. That is why he kept on saying, my disciples are as good as sannyasis. Grihastha disciples. That is how they were. You go ask Prabhupada disciples how they were living during Prabhupada's time. Grihasthas. You eat with the temple, you live. Ravindra Prabhu told me in ISKCON Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, America, when he joined, he already had, I think, one child. At least one child. He, his wife, and child. when they moved into ISKCON Philadelphia, there was a hall for the Grihasthas, and that hall was divided by cloth. By cloth they made various cabins, and he was given one such cloth cabin. That's all. And he was made temple president also. This is how they were. You want to go back to God in one life? No. So for that you engage in maximized bhakti or exclusive bhakti. Otherwise it will take several lifetimes. You'll make. At some point you will come. After many lifetimes, I'm not talking only of you, me, all of us. We'll take, because corresponding to what we are doing only, we'll get results. It will come. Anyway, Prabhupada has said, ultimately we want to give up eating, sleeping, mating, defending. There's earning money and all is just defense. The Goswamis, Prabhupada explains why the Goswamis were simply engaged in devotion service. Because they had reduced their eating, they were hardly eating anything, hardly sleeping, and no question of mating. And they had no reason to defend themselves because they had taken shelter of Krishna. You take shelter of Krishna, it's Krishna's duty to maintain you. Why you need to maintain? That much degree of realization and faith has to be there for those who are engaging in maximized bhakti. For everything they get paranoid. Oh, who will maintain me? Who will maintain? That means they're not realized enough to engage in maximized bhakti. Mature. So they should just engage in minimized bhakti. That's all. Continue to be in paranoia. That's all.
If those kind of devotees are one of our family members, how should we react?
What? If one of your family members wants to join the temple?
No. Who thinks that unless I go out and earn, I cannot maintain myself.
So then what to do? Family life is a joint venture, so you'll have to work it out. That's
Okay.
This is no joke, because suddenly you may go before Radha Madhav and say, okay, I'll not bother about anything. And suddenly you lose all money, all your house, everything is stolen, everything. Then what will you do? Will you continue to take shelter? You cannot play games with the Supreme Lord. To know what you're getting into. I heard about one person who once went and prayed to Srimati Radharani, saying, please do everything possible to make me go back to Godhead. As soon as I'm fully qualified to go back to Godhead, attain love of Godhead, whatever. Within a few days, he got some disease by which within 6 months he died. But he was fixed. He was fixed. His family members were terrified, shocked. He was fixed. And that too he prayed in Vrindavan. You know what you're doing. You go before Narasimha-Dev in Mayapur and you say, Lord Narasimha-Dev, please, using your powerful nails, please remove all my contamination, everything. Please remove all, just do whatever you want. And then when you go home, you find your house completely burnt up. There are situations like that has also happened. And then all devotees come criticize you like hell for 1 year. The next year you come back to Narasimha-Dev and you say, please to remove all the contamination, but very gently, very softly. This has also happened. You should understand the degree to which we are actually engaged in Krishna consciousness in order to proceed in Krishna consciousness. Not overestimate, not underestimate. That maturity we develop when we progress in Krishna consciousness. All right, Siddha Sura Prabhu, you got a question?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Danat Pranam, Jai Prabhupada. Today, can you hear me, Prabhu? Am I audible?
Yeah, you can speak a little bit louder.
Sure, Prabhu. In the beginning, you said that just by chanting one holy name, just by the influence of Nāmāśraya itself, one sinful reactions will be destroyed. Not just sinful reactions, but even the propensity to commit sins and even the root cause, that is avidya, that is also destroyed. You are talking about Nāmāśraya or Suddha Nam, Prabhu? This is Nāmāśraya, right? Nāmāśraya. Okay. So after Ajamila, he chanted Nāmāśraya. Then once chanting of Nāmāśraya would have aroused renunciation in Ajamila, but he
We
continued
already dealt
committing.
with that. And it will
Yes.
come further. It will come further. Just wait until
I'm
this.
just I'm revising my understanding.
No, he has
Because-
not explained fully.
Oh,
Only
I
a
see.
portion. There are many more things to come.
Because you made this point that how could the Lord allow him to commit sins if he became a Jivan Mukta after chanting the holy name once, right? That point you were trying to establish, I don't remember.
No, he's just taking up one objection after another. He'll take up many more objections.
Oh, I see. And one more point, Prabhu. By the influence of Nāmāśraya, Ajamila was taken to Vaikuntha, though he committed sins. This was one point we were trying to make. And then I was still struck with wonder, Prabhu. Just by the influence of Nāmāśraya, can one enter
Just
to
be
Vaikuntha?
patient. Let's go through this.
Okay, we're fine, Prabhu. And and also you made one more point, Prabhu. Sannyasis of ISKCON, they can be taken to be performing Kevala Bhakti. Is it so?
I mean, they're expected to, naturally.
Okay. There's a difference.
It also pointed out that the brahmacharis, the vanaprasthas, the sannyasis, they are meant to engage in the 64 items of devotional service only. They should not have any other duty, responsibility. This is all they should do. So that itself is sufficiently indicative that he expected within his system, the brahmacharis, the vanaprasthas, and the sannyasis. I'm talking of separated vanaprastha men, the sannyasis, to exclusively engage in bhakti. That means they are supposed to be engaged in Kevala Bhakti, exclusive bhakti.
Kevala Bhakti, is it different from Ananya Bhakti? Kevala Bhakti? They are same or different?
What is Ananya Bhakti? Ananya Bhakti means exclusive bhakti.
Same
Thing. Supposed to be the same thing.
Okay. And one more last question, Prabhu. In Guni Bhuta Bhakti, you were explaining that the karmis, if they do not atone for their sinful reactions, then even Bhakti Devi won't save them from going to hell. So atonement destroys their sinful reactions and protects them from going to hell. Is it a correct understanding?
Yeah.
Have I understood it correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. But if this means a karmi may be performing a small time bhakti, if he may be engaged in a karmi, he may be engaged in performing little bhakti.
No, karmi, we are talking of proper karmis. We are not talking of, we conventionally refer to all kinds of people as karmis. We are not, Vishwanath Chakravarti is not talking about them. He's talking of proper karmi.
So if such a karmi, if he does not atone for his sinful reactions, then is he going to hell? Bhakti Devi will not protect him from going to hell?
No, I don't understand your question.
Okay, Prabhu. One who is engaged in Guni Bhuta Bhakti, a proper karmi, if he does not atone for his sinful reactions,
then he will go to hell.
Then he will go to hell.
Yeah.
So Bhakti Devi won't protect him?
But he's only engaged in Guni Bhuta Bhakti. He's a karmi. He's not some bhakta and all. He's not a Vaishnava.
So he's required to perform atonement also in order to be saved from going to hell.
Of course, he's a karmi. Karmis have to follow all these things. They want to go to Swarga, or they want to have a better material life in the next life. So that's why they're spending most of the time in karma also.
That's true. This is clear now. And yeah, as of now, Prabhu, of course, I have little other doubts also. I have to again listen to your lecture again. Then I can frame more questions, because it was
also ask in that
Telegram.
I think that I have some pending questions from you. I should deal with that also.
Yeah, maybe one or two. Yeah, yes, Prabhu. Yeah. A couple of questions. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Okay. I see another raised hand. Venkateshan. You're too low. I cannot hear you at all. Yeah, can you speak a little loud?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Chanting is the one of the 9 process of devotion service, and you have mentioned that all the results of our Navida Bhakti will be provided by Bhakti Devi. Generally, we heard that for chanting we have Nama Prabhu, and chanting is independent. Chanting is Nama Japa, chanting of the holy name does not depend on anything.
So
So
it depend on anything means what?
it is independent, it can give you liberation and everything.
Yeah.
How Bhakti Devi is
Bhakti Devi
controlling
is the potency of the holy name. That's all.
is potency of the holy name.
That's all.
Okay, bro.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, fine.
Thank you, bro.
Patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah.